going on there, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, brought to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's our weekly live stream where we talk about the news, current events, and so on. But not tonight, because tonight is Rob and mine's birthday. So we're gonna be doing whatever the hell we want.
Yeah, I didn't feel like talking about the what's crazy things that Joe Biden said or what's going on in
or like the obvious outrage fodder that he puts out. So we're not gonna even dignify that with a response. So we're just gonna
bag of Republican.
Yeah, if you hold something near and dear to your heart, and anyways,
dude, I will say though that I don't know if you heard it, but like Dana Carvey making fun of him is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, finally, people are starting to make fun of him. It wasn't what is it? It wasn't even what is it? He wasn't even elected yet, and there were comedians were making fun of him. Like Saturday Night Live was making fun of I'm sorry, it's making fun of Trump. He wasn't even he's freshly elected, and they were already going on with like the impressions and the mockery and things like that. And I'm not saying that they can't, but to be fair, Joe Biden is a highly mockable person.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Yes, but yeah, since it is our birthday, we decided to make it a little bit special by coordinating our outfits here. For those of you, we're dating ourselves for sure, but
yes, we're old.
Yeah, we're old. But yes, those of you who recognize, yes, these are the No Ma'am shirts, made famous by Married with Children. And No Ma'am, is the men's, organization that Al Bundy starts. And No Ma'am stands for the National Organization of Men Against Amazonian Masterhood.
It's so great.
Yeah. And so just to like kind of hopefully this will induce the rage, the hate comments that I've been so desiring ever since we started this channel.
I bought these shirts for us.
I know. I think maybe for Halloween I will go as Al Bundy.
Dude, I honestly if I think for bowling for the Halloween week, I'm gonna wear this.
Nice.
Just to piss people off.
Yeah, I know, right? I know, but shoot. If I had a little bit, I mean, I knew Halloween was around the corner, but if I had the mind to it, go the whole kind of prep thing and do like a cutout of the couch, and and then kind of like a sandwich board, but then kind of extended that goes out behind me, like the couch, and then kind of fake legs, and then my hand in my pants.
Oh, that would be a good costume, dude.
Yeah, I'm next level with this stuff. It's like with my Squid Game costume. Everyone was gonna go as one of the guards, or with the tracksuits, or
That's easy.
Yeah, the mediator guy or whatever. But I went as the fucking cookie. All right.
Of course. See, that's thinking.
I know, right? and everyone loved it. And everyone when I went out to parties and stuff, people loved it. Especially because on the back, it was like a sandwich. It was like a sandwich thing, and then I had I got a big corrugated piece, and I cut it into a circle, and I put the umbrella stamp thing on it.
Yep.
But then on the other half of the back half of it, it said "Lick me."
Oh yeah, that. I'm actually gonna see if maybe if our bowling team the Halloween week, if they want to also get the No Ma'am shirts, and we just all go as part members of the No Ma'am organization.
There you go. Absolutely.
I'll talk to them on Thursday and see if they want to do that, because the shirts are not that expensive, to be honest.
No,
Because
yeah.
I got these two for relatively cheap. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But
but
since it's our birthday, we're not doing the usual format of you know, you know topics of discussion or like news items, and then we're not even. We're doing slightly different review, and that's just we're going to be talking about our favorite, um, Simpsons episodes, specifically Treehouse of Horror.
yeah.
Um,
Just I was trying to think of like something special that we could do for today, since it is our birthday. And I was like, well, this is something like I don't know if we would be able to do this on like any other episode
mhm.
specifically. So I think it would be fun to talk about our favorite shorts from the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. I mean, and there's a lot to choose from now. I mean, they've done over 30 of them.
Right.
So and I kind of like went, because there's still a few that I haven't seen, or I haven't seen in a long time. So I was kind of refreshing myself over the week. Uh, and so that was actually a lot of fun. I had a good time, kind of watching all of them, and even like with the newer ones, they're all pretty solid. I mean, there obviously there's others that really stand out, but they're all really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, Comment from Dark Avenger. Ducking love you fellas. Happy birthday stream. Penis wrinkles love you hot, you turds.
Our friend Dave. I'm glad he's watching.
I know, right?
Uh, he's he's having well, I talk to him all the time. Like we talk usually a couple times a week now. But
Right.
yeah, he's always a lot of fun. Actually,
Yeah. Love you too,
kind of
Dave.
kind of like a quick update from a few weeks ago. I had that rant about the freaking region
Region lock.
locking
Mm-hmm.
on Blu-rays. Someone must have heard my rant, because not like a couple weeks after I had that rant,
Mm-hmm.
the first and third parts of the trilogy, the Vengeance trilogy,
Uh-huh.
uh, they're up on Tubi now. So
Oh,
Sympathy
nice.
for
Oh, Tubi's the free one, right?
Yeah, right. So Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance are up on Tubi,
Mm-hmm.
and so I mean it's not the Old Boy's still not available. I
Right.
think I have some. I have a feeling it's because of the remake being on Netflix is the reason, maybe why
Mm-hmm.
there might be some sort of licensing thing. But I mean it's not an official American Blu-ray release of the trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what? It's a start.
Right.
And so I actually got a chance to watch the entire trilogy. Um, because I was kind of like, my wife was wanting to watch Korean movies, and I was like, okay, well, I want to watch these ones.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do that? And she's like,
Right.
I don't want to watch. It's like, it's too old. It's like, trust me, this is gonna be really good.
Oh
And so we
yeah.
watched. Yeah, so Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of it starts off as this kind of like fun, like it's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's this, he our main character, he ends up he's like a deaf mute,
Mm-hmm.
and he ends up kidnapping this kid after he get the daughter of his boss, after he gets fired, because he's trying to pay for his sister's kidney transplant. And it's like, oh, we're having a good time, and then boom, hard left turn, and it gets really dark really fast, and I'm like, whoa. So that, it was a good one.
Mm.
Then there's Old Boy.
Oh
Who
boy.
boy. Oh.
That is one fucked up movie.
I, we'll have to do an episode at some point talking about our top surprise endings in
Yeah, like
movies.
top twists, top twists.
Yeah, that is right up there. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah. Oh,
I knew like
really quick. Dark Avenger. Pat, gotta talk later. Gotta talk after the cast. So just so you know.
yeah, I know he's been trying to contact me today. I've been really busy, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll get back to
Yeah,
him.
just so you know.
But oh yeah. But that is just one of those movies that like I my wife is like, because there was some things like, oh, it's a good movie. It's like, okay, we're having fun. We're getting some revenge on these people, and then all of a sudden it's like, but she was like really annoyed by one of the characters. Like, why is this character even fucking here? And then all of a sudden, then the twist happens. Oh God, no!
Yeah.
It's like that's
Yeah. It's a rough twist. It's a rough twist.
and you and Eric and like everyone I know is like on Twitter, like they always like, you have got to see this movie. It is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. And now I understand why. Um, I was talking to some of our friends on the A Cut Above podcast about this movie, and they're like, dude, that movie is fucked up.
Yep.
It's not a horror movie, but God, it's horrific.
Yeah. I mean, I put it in the category of Wind River, where
Yeah.
it's like I don't like I don't want to watch this movie, but just like, or I don't want to revisit this movie like with like enthusiasm. It's just like, you know, I kind of want to watch it, but like I know it's gonna be rough.
Now I will say that I know it's not going to be as good, but I am curious to see the American remake of this and see what they changed,
I
what they
mean,
did.
okay, I mean, no spoilers, but the only good part of it is maybe seeing Elizabeth Olsen's boobies.
Okay, that's worth it for me. Yes, you sold.
Yeah, sold. Yeah, it's just like some like especially some of the like cultural elements like definitely don't translate.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm worried about. It's like, because this should have been one where, okay, maybe this should have been like maybe like Parasite just kind of came out, like it was no American and there should never be an
No,
American
there should
remake.
never be an American remake of this movie.
And this is one of those movies that should have been maybe like re-released.
Oh yeah. An American studio should have gotten the distribution rights for America, and they should have just like, as is, just released it.
Because the acting is fantastic. I mean, I would. It's one of those movies like I wouldn't cast that any differently.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I think one of the greatest kind of, I don't know, was it tropes or okay, well, let's just call it tropes. One of the greatest tropes, I think, maybe actually started with Old Boy, and that's the long take fight scenes in tight quarters.
Yes, that I agree with that. It's
like if you watch Old Boy and you see like the hallway fight scene, then you'll be like, that's Daredevil, that's like Kingsman, that's on and on and on. Like any recent long take fight scene, that's usually within confined area. They definitely lifted it from this movie.
Yeah, it is funny because I've been talking about this because I can't get that movie out of my head. It's so like it's just insane to me, and so I was like, hey, like my friends work, you have got to see this movie. And like one of the people I work with, she's really into a lot of like Asian cinema, so she watches all like the Hong Kong, Thai movies, Korean movies, Japanese movies. So I've been making suggestions to her. And so I was like, I got her to start watching the Vengeance trilogy, and so she really liked Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, and as soon as we were done watching Old Boy, I was like, I texted her. It was like 9:30, and it's like, because I know she stays up late watching this stuff. It's like, you have got to watch this movie right now. It is nuts. Just trust me. And she saw me the next day, and she just like, oh my god, I got to talk to you about this. She was like, when that twist happened, it was like I was watching it at like 1:30 at night, and I yelled at the TV. It was like, get the fuck out of here! No.
Yeah, and I mean, and just like you, okay, not gonna ruin for anybody else, but like the brutality at the end of what he does to himself.
Oh god.
Like, yeah, it's like that's not in the American version. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that is so that aspect is not in the American one.
No.
Like, okay. I get to see Elizabeth Olsen's boobs. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it. You know what? It's just that alone will be worth it.
I mean, I hope it will be, because I mean, it's just like, cause it's not a good movie. I mean, God, bless their hearts for trying, but
was it even successful out here? Because I
not
don't remember.
really. It wasn't really received very well.
I mean, it's definitely not because of the actors. Because
right,
Josh Brolin's
Josh Brolin, again, Elizabeth Olsen. Who's that South African actor that was kind of big for a while?
Oh,
he was in District 9.
Yeah, okay, I forget his name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I like him too.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, Samuel Jackson's in it.
Okay, all right. It's got the right people. It must be the writing then. The writing has to be the problem.
Maybe, yeah, it could be the writing, and just, yeah. Again, I think with a lot of it is also like the translation of like certain like cultural stuff, but then also this happened just early on in the aughts. The Korean one. The Korean one came out like early in the aughts. Like 2004 or 5. And so, yeah, there's also a matter of like technology available, which like made like the sleuthing, which made like the sleuthing easier, I guess, in the American one, because it was, later on, and like they had smartphones now, and just like,
yeah, it's one of those things that, like, I think it would have been better just as a re-release, just because it's so perfect just as it is. But I mean, I don't think that I'll have to watch it, but I'm hoping it wasn't just done as a cash grab. It was like, because they actually did care about the movie, and they wanted to do their best. Maybe it just doesn't translate or work as well, despite you having like some of the best actors doing it. It just works out that way sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like, it's still fucked up for the reasons. The Korean Old Boy is fucked up, but then it definitely goes like, it definitely tries to like up the ante in the American one.
Yeah. But
in kind of a similar fashion.
And then we also did watch Lady Vengeance. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that, Andy? Have you seen Lady Vengeance?
Well, no. Well, I guess in that trilogy, the only one I've seen is Old Boy, so I have to go back and watch Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and then Lady Vengeance.
Oh yeah. So the one thing I'll say, Lady Vengeance is much more slower paced. Mm-hmm. I think it's the weakest of the trilogy, but it's still good. Joyce, my wife, didn't like it. I actually really liked it. It's fucked up on a whole different level, but it's not, like I said, I enjoyed watching it. I would think, like, since it's not like a continuous story, mm-hmm. I would say, like, since it's just a thematic trilogy, mm-hmm. I would almost say start with Lady Vengeance and then do Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, then end with Old Boy, because Old Boy is the best of the three, mm-hmm. for sure. But they're all like solid on their own right. I mean, the acting is phenomenal. The stories are very interesting. Mm-hmm. I think the other reason that like because there is a segment of Lady Vengeance like that the movie does end in a black and white, couple of acts, and so I was like, why they do it in black and white? It's like there's a whole because it's not all black and white. They're doing that to accentuate certain colors. Yeah, it's like they're doing this for a reason. Just it's an artistic reason. So just
Yeah,
bear
your wife. I don't get the prejudice against black and white.
it's just I don't know.
I,
I don't
I, I
know.
really don't. I mean, maybe it's just this generational thing because because I mean, you and I, like, we grew up and like, every so often we run into a black and white TV, and so like it's like okay, it is what it is. Or even like watching old episodes of like I Love Lucy, or even older episodes of Gilligan's Island, which were actually in black and
Yeah,
white.
those are black and white too. I mean, I grew up watching like the Addams Family, the Munsters.
Right? Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I grew my favorite like some of my favorite movies are the Universal monster movies. Those are all black and white.
Right.
And even like, but even as a kid, I wasn't like, oh, why isn't this in color? I just accepted it for what it was. It's like, okay, that's how
Right.
they made it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, maybe I've always maybe I'm weird for like even my age, like where I just accept that like I like old things, and some of the old great things are in black and white. Um, that's we were talking about it on when we were on A Cut Above, like where I was making fun of that, like because the host she enjoys kind of like the weird remakes of like old horror movies, like like that period of like 2000 the early 2000s where they were remaking a lot of these horror movies. Like, oh, so you must be a fan of the '98 Psycho? No.
Right.
It's like even I have my limits. It's like, I have some dignity. But see, now I'm wondering. It's like I might have to. I think if I showed my wife the '98 Psycho, she might like it though, because she doesn't like the black and white movies. She likes color movies, and it's
Yeah,
technically
yeah, yeah. Technically, it's a shot for shot.
I
Yeah.
like the movie,
Mm-hmm.
which is that would break my heart. But at the same time, I really would want to get her into that story.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, who the hell was the studio executive? Is like a shot for shot remake of Psycho in color? Hell's yeah!
With Anne
And then,
Heche as the Scream Queen, yeah.
yeah.
Is she dead now? Did she die?
Yeah, she recently passed. Yeah.
Jesus, I thought I heard that. I was like, no. I thought somebody was joking or whatever. It was like apparently she. I guess did
Yeah,
she
I
get
did too, but yeah, she
something?
recently passed. I forget like what the cause was, but yeah, she recently passed.
Was she in a car accident of some
So,
sort?
I think something like that. She was in a car accident, and then she went into a coma, and I think she was on life support, and I guess she just kicked it.
Jesus, damn.
Something like that. I'm not 100% sure on the details.
Yeah, but no, it was. See, Andy, aren't you happy for Schlocktober? I didn't choose something like the '98 Psycho. I'm not a monster, okay?
Oh, you're a monster, but
Yeah. Even
know.
I have some dignity.
Yeah, he's like even you know how to be magnanimous at times.
Even even the first movie we're gonna do. It's a movie I hate.
Yeah, so look
But
forward to that. Yes, for those of you folks wondering what the next theme is going to be, it's going to be Schlocktober. But in his magnanimity, Robert has spared me this week since today is our birthday, so he spared me from watching any shitty movie.
but I think it'll be more interesting with what we're gonna be doing with it. Is that I tried to choose movies that I think that are they bad movies? Yes. Are they flawed? Yes. But I think that they have good ideas, and if just like a few tweaks here and there, they could be good movies. Yeah, and that's what. And
So you're
so I
saying
think
so you're saying that they can be redeemed.
they can be redeemed. I think that these movies have redemptive values, and then there's going to be like one or two that I picked that I want. Well, one for sure that we're doing that I know I think is a good movie, and I'm going to try to convince you. I'm going to give you the reasons why I think it's a good movie, and hopefully to try to convince you, because it's a weird movie, but I see kind of the vision this guy was going for in the movie.
Good luck.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. I like I said, I trust me. I wanted to go with stuff like Velocipaster or Man
Velocipaster.
the Hands
Oh
of Fate. I really wanted to do. I was like, I can't do that to Andy. It's like that'd be the end
I
of
know.
the podcast.
I will terminate the podcast.
I was like, I might have to, siphon off and
I will nuclear strike this, this channel and leave nothing left.
I'd have to get some guest hosts for the week, for the month. But yeah, so I watched the Vengeance trilogy. I watched another one called Chaser, which was really fun. About things like ex-cop turned pimp who his girls start disappearing, and he starts to investigate like why, because he thinks that they're just being kidnapped and sold off to somebody else, but it turns out it's a serial killer. And whoa, that movie has also just like it's heartbreaking a little bit. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing kind of this Korean movie marathon, and then I picked up something for myself. Not much. I mean, I picked up this Japanese movie called Onibaba. It's a Japanese horror film from I think like 1960 something, 65 I think. And it's that's a movie we'll have to do at some point too. It's really interesting. I think you'd like it. A little bit of a more artsy film, but not in like the let's just do something to like really transcend. It's like it actually does have a point to it. It's not just art for art's sake.
Okay.
So yeah, that's been pretty much my week. That's what I've been doing.
Okay.
I've been working on my stuff for the Schlocktober reviews too. So I watched the first movie that we're gonna do, and oh god.
Oh yeah, I forgot. All right, for those of you who want to participate, we're gonna be watching Cop Out.
Oh god. I'm starting to I like Kevin Smith films, like especially Clerks. Clerks, I think, is one of the greatest comedies ever written. I do like Chasing Amy. I think that's a good movie. This movie is awful. It's so awful. And yeah, I'll get into it next week, just because like I have a lot to say about like some of the background stuff and like why I think there's a lot of Kevin Smith is a whiny crybaby liar.
Yeah. We got a movie recommendation from Dark Avenger. Care to venture a guess what it is?
Like, are we talking? Is it like a crappy movie, or are we talking about like a good movie?
Knowing Dave as you do, what movie do you think he suggested?
God, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of the movies that he's talked about, like us doing. I can't think of one.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah. Tell me.
Debbie Does Dallas.
Oh Jesus. I thought it was.
Yeah, I
I'm
should
sure.
have prefaced like not a serious
Okay,
take.
it's not a serious choice.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
not a
like
serious choice. I mean, I don't know.
no,
Maybe he's gonna come back. He's like, I was serious.
he probably is serious.
Yeah,
I don't. For all the plot twists of a porno.
I know, right? It's like, and guess what? The penis goes in the vagina.
Guess what? He came on her face. Oh wow.
I mean, actually, that's the only twist that really can come in a porno. It's like, where are the guys gonna come?
Oh, I would have thought there. Okay, the feet this time.
I
Okay,
know. It's
weirdo.
like, right? It's like, yeah, it's like that Chappelle joke, you know? It's like, oh, they come on the TV. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, come in my fishbowl.
God, I forgot about that. That's really funny.
Oh.
But yeah, so that's been like pretty much my week. Getting ready for October. Kind of working on some of our next guests, trying to get them figuring out like the days that we can do that, what we're going to be doing, and yeah, did a Korean movie marathon this past week, which is fun.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you like do for your birthday? Because I think we've only celebrated together like once. Because normally, you have your family stuff, I have my other stuff going on. Do you have like anything like traditional that you do for like your birthday? Like, oh, like, it's my birthday, I want to do like this. Do you have anything that you like to do?
For me, what is it? Not really. I went fishing today actually with a buddy of mine.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, and he actually even gifted me a fishing pole, so that was nice.
Oh shit,
Yeah, I
nice.
mean, it wasn't like anything like super fancy. It's just like a nice. It's a small one that because he does sometimes enjoy going over to what is it, Balboa Lake, and
Hmm.
do a little fishing, and I went with him one time, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like fishing at Balboa Park, it's like or Balboa Lake, it's like the McDonald's of fishing. It's like, yeah, you'll like catch something, but you know, it's mostly there to fill a need,
Yeah, could be a dead body, could be a fish, could be a boot. You never know.
Yeah, but it's just like, yeah, it's like if you feel like if you like want to go fishing and you want to like catch something, but you like it won't be like a big whopper or I know I'm kind of like mixing my metaphors now, bring up whoppers, but
Whoppers said no one ever.
yeah, yeah, it's more like I guess I'll have the whopper, but yeah, it's not gonna be a big one, but like you still feel like the fish at the end of the line, and so it kind of makes you feel good. But yeah, he gifted me that. So that was nice. Although we did go and fish, but we got skunked. It wasn't the best day to be out on the water. I mean, it's not, but not that we were on the water, but yeah, we were fishing from off the shore of Castaic Lake here in just like 30 minutes north of where we live. Um, but yeah, it was nice. It was nice being outside. And, I gotta say, the water level at Castaic Lake dropped a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like e- at the could it be maybe possibly easily 300 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, because I remember when we went to the boat, we went to the ramp to launch boats,
Uh
and
huh.
like the last time I was there was like maybe 10 years ago. Um, and I remember the water just being as soon as we got up to the ramp, like the water was like right there. But
Right. Right.
when we got there, when we went to go check it out today, like it was down. Like my car like I drove my car in, and where my last time I was there, my car would have been underwater.
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah, the drought is real in Southern California.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not. I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah, we are definitely in a drought,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
mean, part of being in a desert,
yeah.
it's
No,
one of those.
and yeah, not having enough water resources. We could go into that, but I won't. Yeah, and then the weekend, yeah, my aunt and uncle were visiting from Texas, and then like they're planning on having, or they're planning a family dinner because my cousin, who just recently became a doctor, he wanted to thank the family for all their like support, moral and financial or whatever. And so he he's still off, during doing his residency, but he gave his parents the money to take all of us out. And when they found out that it was my birthday, they're like, "Oh no, for sure you have to come." And I was like, "Okay." And so I did. I know, but I mean,
Well,
I don't mean to make it sound like I don't like my aunt and uncle, but um, it was still good, and a lot of our family was there, and a lot of my family I hadn't seen in a while. A lot of my cousins with kids were there, so I got to see them. I got to play. I got to be the fun uncle. That just
nice.
that just played with them and like fed them Jello and ice cream. So because
Nice.
we went to an Asian style seafood buffet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, that sounds good.
yeah. It was actually pretty decent, actually decent quality. I don't know if I necessarily recommend, but you know, I could say it was decent. It was decent quality.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do anything like super spectacular. Like we had I got some couple of Costco pizzas and I also got whatchamacallit, some pineapple and bacon sausages that I made, and Dan bought like a shit ton of beer. It's like I don't know like when I'm ever gonna finish that. It's like he bought like 3 30 packs. It's like Jesus.
3 30 packs.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm like I didn't like and because I well was it Saturday, like I kind of didn't really drink all that much because I thought I had to pick up Joyce from like her friends, and it's like the last thing it's like, oh no, I actually have a ride home. It's like, well, that would have been nice to have known. It's
Right. I
like
know.
I could have drank more.
Right.
Um, but no, maybe like one at some point, like next time we see each other, we can have a few drinks and just kind of have some fun. I did get to show Dan. So another movie that you kind of turned me on to that I just fell in love with that we're going to talk about next month. Actually, I showed him Pool Hall Junkies.
Mm.
He loved it.
I
And it's
know.
just like
It's so good.
it's so good.
It's
Oh
so
man,
good.
I really I would love if they did like a for the 20th anniversary if they did like a Blu-ray release of this movie because
Mm.
it deserved it. I know it did not do well at all in the box
Mm.
office, but man, it's so freaking good.
Yeah, and actually, and I think after some people did go and watch it, and like I think some word of mouth did build up, and I think it did have like a second life in video release.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think even in video release, it still wasn't enough to like uh, give it new life, or possible,
Right. Yeah.
or indicate maybe like people would want a sequel movie. So
See, I don't want like a sequel, but like I just think that it's a fun movie. I'm gonna buy the DVD at some point, like just because I like the movie that much.
mhm.
It's so much fun.
I
And
know. Oh
he
my
was, because
gosh.
I think he was like a little like when I was like, oh, dude, trust me, you're gonna like this movie, like, and so we sat down watching it. I think he was a little skeptical at first,
Hmm.
but that very first scene, like when like with him with the at the black pool hall,
Yeah, yeah,
that got
yeah.
right away. It's just like,
I know it's like a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people don't like remember that movie or or never watched that movie, and I'm just like, you have to watch. And it's because
had I known about it back in 2002, oh, I would have 100% watched that in the theaters. That would
yeah,
have been that.
I think I did watch it in the theater. Like thinking back on
Yeah,
it, I think I did watch it in the theater.
I'm so excited to talk about it. It's I really, really love that movie.
Dude, I know. Oh man, just
I
that
think I've
movie's
seen it
so
10
good.
times now.
Huh?
I think I've seen it about 10 times now.
Mm.
Just because for a while it was not available anywhere for streaming,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm wondering if maybe because this year, because it is the 20th anniversary, it is available on Tubi now.
Mm. All
So
right, that's where we watched it.
yeah, I've seen it about 10 times since we it's I don't get tired of it.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, so for all of you out there, don't sleep on this movie. Go. It's on Tubi right now. It's free. Just go watch it. You'll thank me later.
Hell yeah. Yeah, go watch it. Have a great time with it. It's so good.
Yeah. It's weird because like how you keep watching um, Pool Hall Junkies. For me recently, I just been constantly watching Top Gun Maverick.
Is it really that good?
I really enjoy it. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't. Everyone's been like, I've been. It's kind of how like when I was made fun of because I hadn't watched any of the Scream films, and like,
Mhm.
dude, what are you doing?
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm
it's
getting
not
the
that.
same response.
This is not that.
I'm getting no, but I've been getting the same response. It's like, how have you not watched this? Yeah, it's so good. And
Yeah,
so
it's really
it's
good. It's
not
just like it
I
takes
don't watch it.
yeah, it just takes everything good about Top Gun and just it's kind of like Terminator and T2.
Or Alien and Aliens just dials it to 11.
Yeah, or it just like refines the initial premise.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I know I'm gonna like it. That's the thing. I know I'm gonna like it. Um,
And it's actually pretty interesting because the director of Top Gun Maverick, he's been compared to James Cameron, like in terms of stylistically and also like his use of like technology because James Cameron is also like a big tech guy too.
yeah. Well, I mean, he invented like that whole like special 3D camera to do Avatar in. That's why
Right.
like when you watch 3D, which is that's how it's supposed to be seen because it was
Right, but then
specially.
also yeah, but like even like for his non like action stuff like Titanic, he went down and like surveyed the actual Titanic himself, and then came up and did
He
the
did document.
models. Yeah,
He
he
did
did a
document.
documentary. He did a documentary, and then he did like perfect models of the Titanic on the bottom of the ocean, and did it in miniature, and then he created a rig that can go like perfect 90 degrees up, at for the bow section of the Titanic.
He's
So
gone
again,
further
technology.
than most humans ever will.
Yeah.
Like he built special machines to be able to go down as far as possible in the ocean. He's I had to admit is I know James Cameron is a tough guy to work with. He's
Mhm.
kind of an asshole, but he's also one of the most fascinating people in Hollywood. Just because like he makes really fantastic movies. As much as I don't like Titanic, I can't say that it's a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's
Yeah,
just it
from
pisses.
technically speaking.
Technically, it's beautiful.
Mhm.
It's great. I just the Rose is the villain of that movie.
Yes, we
Um,
we all agree.
Avatar, it feels like kind of like a retread of a bunch of other different types of movies,
Yeah, no,
but
it definitely is.
I can't argue how spectacular it looks.
Right. The
But
spectacle of like the technology that went behind, creating these alien creatures and the
yeah,
mechanized, battle suits and things like that. Yeah.
And I think that that was also the downfall one of the many downfalls of the M Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender, because Cameron trademarked the Avatar name, so M Night Shyamalan, like, they were trying to create the Avatar The Last Airbender, like, they were taking it from the cartoon
Right.
to the action, but then James Cameron swooped in and stole the Avatar name, and it's like,
Yeah.
fuck, so
I know.
right
So it's
away.
like, yeah. So and I think that's also why. I mean, other than being like just a crap movie, but like, I think what like in terms of marketing, I think that's what hurt his movies, because everyone knows it as Avatar: The Last Airbender, and like even like people who are you know vaguely familiar with the property. Like they know it as Avatar: The Last Airbender, but then it came out as The Last Airbender. It's like, what the fuck
That
is that?
Yeah, that movie was dead on arrival. Like, it was fucked before everything even got started.
Hmm.
That that to be honest though, that's not M Night Shyamalan's fault. There was a lot of other problems with that. Like, I know some people who behind the scenes who were kind of like there, and they're like, yeah, that movie was fucked from the very beginning. It was never going to be good, no matter who was directing, it was going to be a disaster.
Hmm.
Too many people, too many hands in the cookie jar, and too many things that like went wrong, right? Even in like just in pre-production went wrong. It's like, but they still went through with it for some stupid reason. But yeah, I mean, like, Avatar, the reason why, like, it's because some people say, oh, it's overrated, it's all this. It's like, well, it's not overrated, but what I think happens is it's a retread of a lot of different types of stories,
Hmm.
which is fine. It is telling it in a different way,
Hmm.
but when you don't watch that in theaters, it does lose some of the magic in
Right.
the.
Like, yeah, if you didn't watch it in 3D or if you didn't watch it in IMAX, then you didn't watch the movie.
Yeah, it just feels like it doesn't have that same magic on just like a regular TV with like a nice TV with like a nice sound system.
Hmm.
Even then, it loses some of the magic,
Right.
and it's one of those things where like you kind of almost had to be there. And I understand why it made like $2 billion. It was um so it's still an incredible movie. I can't argue that it's not a bad movie. It's just not, I wouldn't say it's not like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
But it's still a
Yeah.
good movie.
It's Fern Gully, and it's Dances with Wolves, and it's um
Yeah, it definitely takes elements from those.
it's what is it? It's a little bit Apocalypse Now. Um,
It has a little bit of that. It has a little bit of what's the movie with Daniel Day Lewis? Uh, Not Dances. It was the
The
last of the
Last of the
Mohicans.
Mohicans. Yeah.
Yeah, Cameron definitely took elements from those movies. Which is fine. That's a lot of these guys do that. Like, we make those connections all the time.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't think I don't like, some people hate it because of that. It's like, well, I mean, there's so much of cinema and of media that they're borrowing off each other. It's fine.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's
And I
not.
mean,
It's
yeah, and it's like not even like not to mention like all the remakes. You think like the Charlton Heston, shout out because Charlton Heston has the same birthday as us.
Oh, yep,
Um,
yeah. We forgot
but
to celebrate our one of our favorites, Charlton Heston.
there you go. But you think that the Charlton Heston Ten Commandments is the only Ten Commandments? Dude, there was like five other Ten Commandment movies before that one.
Well, I mean, even Cecil B. DeMille had the silent version in 1923, I believe. So that's almost 100 years.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
It's 99 years ago that movie came out. I actually have not seen the silent version, which I do want to see, because I always find it fun when the director remakes their own film. Like, we did that with Hitchcock with The Man Who Knew Too Much,
Hmm.
and the remake actually was a lot better.
Hmm.
I think when directors remake their own stuff, usually it kind of tends to be pretty good because they know what they're trying to do. It's like I had limitations here, or I didn't have all the right actors that I really wanted, and now I have much more to work with. So let's expand a little bit. Like, oh, and maybe because you've heard the criticisms of like the original, well, let's fix those and let's make it even better.
Yeah, I kind of think that's what Cameron does. It's particularly with the Terminator, because like you know I know there are things probably because like limitations of technology, and so like he had to use like the Stan Winston like stop motion stuff, but I mean which is fine.
Yeah.
I think it's great, but like when I know he like he really upped the ante with T2 with like the whole like you know you know. Uh, Memetic, alloy, liquid metal, like Terminator and things like that. And
Oh,
he was
okay.
just like full on, like again, like kind of like refining all the things that made Terminator great, and then just making it better. So in a way, yeah. So in a way, Terminator 2 is a remake of Terminator, but again, just like refinements.
Well, and it's like and even though he didn't do the original Aliens, some people like Aliens better than the original.
Oh yeah,
And
true, true.
I can't argue with that. It's like I see why people like that one better than the original. I honestly I can't separate them. I like them both the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it just he finds a way like he doesn't. I'm trying to think if there's like a James Cameron movie I really just don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's ones where I have like obviously I have problems with like Rose, like some of the characters, but I can't like argue that like it's like none of his movies that I can think of are really like bad. But like yeah, he just has a way of like I think he sees like where like okay, this movie did this, and it's like I'm not gonna ruin what they did. I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna just dial it up to 11, and I'm gonna make it like the bigger, better, badder, and he's pretty amazing to be honest.
Mm.
He's just, like I said, I know he's a handful to work with. I know a lot of people don't like working with him, but you can't argue with the results. The results are there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Um, oh, you know what? I actually recently watched the Training Day series.
How is that?
It was okay.
Now, is Antoine Fuqua doing that, or is it
Yeah,
some?
he. I mean, it only went for one season. And I do, I think they were trying to go for like, obviously they're trying to go for multiple seasons, but for whatever reason, it just didn't get past the first season. Um, and Antoine Fuqua, he was part of that. I think he was executive producer. Um, but it had very loose like connection to like the story of Training Day, the movie.
What now? Was this like set before the events of Training Day? Like, was this like back in the
No, 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 no,
past,
no, 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 no. Yeah,
afterwards?
no. This was I guess 10 years afterwards because the series
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, the series started in ran in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, and so yeah, Training Day came out like 10 years or 11 years before.
Oh,
Um,
see that's a mistake. They
yeah.
should have gone into the past and like
Right, yeah, they should have explored Alonzo. Um,
that see that's what I think they should have done. That would have been much more of a fascinating story.
right, but they didn't. But they went ahead and like talked about how like oh we can't have any more Alonzo Harrises, and so like this rookie cop is sent in to go and investigate this seemingly crooked cop, but it's like complicated because the new rookie cop it was the son of the partner of the supposed crooked cop.
Oh man. See that there's their mistake right there. That's why it didn't survive past the season.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
yeah, they did have loose connections to uh, the Training Day movie, but like yeah, kind of bringing up Alonzo Harris and even actually bringing in some of the actors from the movie. Um, but
Because I
again,
think
I think it was very thin, and I think if given the chance, like if they if the series was greenlit for another season, like I think they could have expanded more, or they could have expanded more, and get a little bit more into that connective tissue. But the limitations of only having one season.
yeah, but I think like right from the like why it didn't last more because I think people want to know more about Alonzo and
Although
uh
it could have been, because the way that it was going, the trajectory, from what I observed, it could have
mhm.
gone into talking. It could have been gone into more Alonso's path, but like not how he got to where he was, but like his involvement in like corrupt dealings.
I mean I eventually yeah like I said I what I would have liked to have seen to start off is like his because he was a rookie at some time too
Mm-hmm.
and like they were talking about like oh yeah I remember when you were like Hoyt this like fresh faced rookie naive as hell and it's like but clearly stuff happened that turned him into the guy that he was and I think obviously the connection was between Alonzo and who we believe is the Sandman
Mm-hmm.
that gets killed in the movie but watching his descent from like kind of that fresh faced rookie into the corrupt guy that he was, seeing that would be very interesting. And even seeing like, leading up into the events of the movie of like how the maybe his bravado that got him into like, that where he ended up killing that guy, that Russian mobster
Mm-hmm.
that kind of was like why he was kind of in that race against time. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
just
yeah. But I think that's a less interesting story, or less interesting thing to delve into, because like we don't. I don't know if we. I mean, other than you, maybe, but I don't think a lot of people care about how Alonso got to where he was. But they are curious of like how they could be interested. I think they could be made in. They could be made to be interested in how deep his corruption went. Because there were allusions to like this big, overarching like cabal of like crooked cops within the
yeah.
LAPD. Um, and
I
like called Project Leviathan,
Yeah.
and so
Did you ever watch?
in the show, and so I think exploring that might have been more interesting than finding out how Alonzo becomes the monster that we see in the movie. But
Did
that's
you
just
ever
my own
watch?
personal opinion.
Did you ever watch The Shield
Not really.
with Michael Chiklis?
But I
I
know.
think the show could have done something a lot, kind of like along those lines
Mm-hmm.
if like they were going to go in the direction that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that would have been a very entertaining show.
Right. Well, I mean, I
But
think that's what it was set up to do. But again, they only got one season, so it is what it is.
yeah, but it's
Yeah, and plus, yeah, one of the stars, passed away. So
that also just that's
yeah, and I'm talking about Bill Paxton, of course.
yeah that's the unfortunate part too. Yeah, he was in a lot. That guy was like working up right up until the end.
I know,
It's
seriously, he was like, yeah. But yeah, in terms of the like, if I'm gonna rate the show or whatever, like this the what is it the second lead, I guess, the rookie cop. He's kind of what is it a charisma vacuum. Like he wasn't really compelling, and his portrayal was very wooden, and like maybe that could be played up to like his being like a rookie or whatever. But it's just like I was more interested in Bill Paxton's character than I was like this rookie cop whose father. Oh, the story is like the father is like supposedly killed in a botched traffic stop or whatever. But it turns out that he was murdered, and the first season is like them trying to figure out who killed the dad.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
the actor who plays the son is just like a charisma vacuum.
that. That's the other thing too. Like when you don't have, maybe it's just like this fresh faced actor, or like maybe like that's what he felt that the character needed, and it just didn't work. It's.
Yeah,
That's
I was like, whenever he was on screen, because like he also had like, because he had a wife, and they were like, oh, we never keep secrets from each other. But then he's going undercover, working for, this other potentially crooked cop in, as a detective, and so like, it's not as though he can be, forthcoming about like his job all the time now, you know.
right, right.
For her protection, but she like gets pissed off about like, oh, you're not open with me anymore, and da da da, and just like so boring.
Yeah, see, that's one of those things too. Like the reason why I wanted it to be like more of like a look into the past of like
Mm-hmm.
Alonzo. I just want to know if our theory was right. That's why I want. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, yeah, and I wish, yeah, it just makes more sense though that what's the actor's name?
What I know, he's one of those
He's been
guys
in
like.
everything. Yeah, Glenn Scott.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Scott Glenn.
There you go, Scott Glenn. Yeah, he's like it would just make logical sense that he's Sandman and that he is the mentor of Alonzo. And he
Yeah.
was a cop. He was a cop, but then he was allowed to like retire and then become like this drug dealer.
Yep. And yeah, that's it makes so much sense.
Yeah, it
It's
just.
all to me. All the signs are right there in the movie.
Mhm. Exactly. Especially, yeah, like, and then when Alonzo goes to the wise men and gets permission to go kill him, like that totally makes sense. It's like he's talking about like, oh yeah, I'll clip some, I'll take it from one of my
because
accounts, like the
because
first
they
one.
were yeah,
And the
they
first
were
one
all
being would be his mentor, like who the mentor helped set up Alonzo, and so Alonzo kind of reciprocated and like kept his secrets or whatever, and
and they're all those people are making money off of what the
exactly,
Sandman is doing.
exactly, exactly. It just totally works. I mean,
Right.
I don't know if that was necessarily the intent. I mean, I would love to talk with Antoine Fuqua and be like,
I would really
pick
love
his
to talk to
brain.
him, the writers, just as
Yeah.
like, is this what you guys were thinking? Because if so, I mean, that's just brilliant. And we are still the only ones that I can find that have come up with that theory.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like with the Shutter Island stuff. It's like, for me, like, okay, yeah, maybe they're leading you in like one direction, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's like the charisma of like Denzel Washington, kind of just like they kind of don't think about stuff like that. They're like,
Yeah.
oh man, he's so great in this film, and he is. But then it's like you kind of forget like all like the little clues and stuff that are there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a mystery here that we don't. That it's like we're given little nuggets of,
Mm-hmm.
and it's left to us to like kind of figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like with with Scorsese's Shutter Island, it's like kind of the same thing. We're being led in a direction, but that's even Scorsese said that it's like that's you know he didn't. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where like we're leading you, but it's not really like, yeah, it's like it's not decisive.
Right.
It's not meant to be like this clear cut
Right. It's not supposed to
answer.
be black and white. It's like this is the ending and this is how it is. It's like, yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's why that last shot like trips me up, and like I can't just accept that. Oh yeah, he was this, or was it Leonardo DiCaprio's character was like this crazy person,
No,
he was a patient, and they're doing like this radical experiment, to try to like shock him out of his psychosis, and bring him back to reality. It's just like that last shot of the lighthouse and like that scary like ominous music, like
yeah,
that doesn't jive. It's like because it's like okay, they're gonna do the lobotomy, but the last shot is the lighthouse where like the supposed hallucination of the patient former doctor Rachel Solando told them that's where the lobotomies happen. It's like if that wasn't the case, if that's not where okay, yes, they do lobotomies, but if it's not in the lighthouse, then why show the lighthouse as he's being walked off to get his lobotomy?
Yeah, it's just it's like I said. I think that our theory is correct because to me it feels like that just that is the ultimate fucked up ending. It's like because he knew like there was no. I think that Leo's character like he knew he was not getting off that island. He was like I'm stuck. I'm trapped.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, he could have he could have had all those like bad experiences with his wife or whatever, but just
yeah, but they see the thing is like the people on the island knew that, and so it was kind of like I think there was some information that did get off the island somehow, which is why he was like, I gotta figure out what's going on here. And even when they were on the boat at the beginning of the movie, you have he's like, wait a second, you're not the guy that I was supposed to be with. You're somebody else. Like because he probably knew the other person. Is like, who are you? It wasn't just like he's not crazy. It's like he was supposed to meet somebody else, which they probably killed that guy at some point. We don't see it obviously, and it turns out that he was involved. It was kind of like the island manipulating, trying to like kind of take care of that loose end, that leak. And they knew that like once he gets on this island, we are gonna trap him here. And they probably looked into his background, knowing that he was the detective, the marshal on hand. And it's like he's been in the war. He discovered one of the internment the Jewish internment camps after the end of World War II. His wife had a mental breakdown and killed their kids or whatever, and so we're gonna use that, and we're gonna kind of like drug him and make kind of give him these like hallucinogenic drugs and make him think that
basically like the ultimate gaslighting.
Dude, this is like the movie Gaslight times like 11. Mm-hmm. It's nuts.
I still gotta watch that movie, but
dude, you haven't seen Gaslight? Oh man, what are you doing?
Sorry, kind of busy.
I know no, seriously. It's I think it's on HBO right now. Okay. It is. Oh my god. Even though I know what's gonna happen in that movie, it's still like like the tension is there. And what's her face? The lead actress, she was in Casablanca. I'm drawing a blank on her name right now, but she is.
Wait, she played Elsa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck is her name? I can't.
I'm blanking out. Hold on.
Ingrid Bergman, thank you.
There you go, Ingrid Bergman.
Ingrid Bergman. Yeah, she is brilliant in the movie. You got
Angela Lansbury's in this?
Wow. Yep, she's the maid. Joseph Cotton is really good in it. He's in it. He's great. The villain is played by Charles Boyer. Mm-hmm. He's evil. Oh my god, he's so bad. But yeah, that movie's really good. I was like, because we heard it was one of those things. You hear that term, gaslight, gaslight, gaslight. It's like the movie Gaslight. It's like, well, let me watch the actual movie. Mm-hmm. And good lord, that movie it got me. And it's like I even know I even before I had seen the movie, I kind of knew what was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But even with all that knowledge before I came into it, it's still like it's so tense. Like, how is this gonna end?
Mm-hmm.
And it does not disappoint.
Mm. All right. Yeah. No. I'm gonna watch it. I promise. Uh,
We'll have to review it at some
yeah.
point. I don't think we've reviewed it, so clearly because you haven't watched it. So
Mm. Yeah. But yeah, I will watch it. Cause yeah, I remember I was gonna watch it, but then like I think I got a phone call or something like I some other task like came up and I was like I got distracted
it
and
just didn't work out.
it
Yeah,
just
it's
didn't
one
work
of those.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like Gaslight a lot, and yeah, just no. Honestly, I've just because I don't right now it's just really expensive to go anywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, like I've been just kind of like watching stuff, either because we're gonna be reviewing it or just because like man,
Yeah, it's
I haven't seen this yet, so like hey, why not? It's
I
just,
know.
it's kind of like a way to save money too. Like right now, it's just like it kind of sucks. Although we've been doing a Bible study on Joshua. We started that up pretty recently, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My wife wanted to. It's like, hey, can we like study through like the book of Joshua? Sure, let's do that. So we're on. We've been working through that, and like this time, like she's actually willing to listen to what I, kind of like giving her some of the kind of like the background information, and then like, okay, what do we now? And then listening through that, and then it's okay. So what do we do with all that information? Like, how do we take from, what's happening then, what's being said then, how do we apply that to today? And it's been a pretty fruitful discussion. Uh, her and I have been having with it. So that's been a lot of fun.
Mm.
But it's just really right now. It's just going out to places right now. It's fucking expensive, man. I our our wonderful government is like, yeah, we're gonna shut everything down. We're gonna inject a bunch of money and spend money in all these different places, print money that we don't actually have. And yeah, the no, it's not a recession. We're just gonna change the definition. See, it's not a recession. And yeah, I don't want to talk about that anymore. But it sucks. It's been really hard to go out recently.
Yeah, no, especially with gas prices creeping back up. I mean, shoot, it's like the cheapest station near my house is like, just a few short weeks ago, it was like under $5. Now it's like, or at least for credit card, it's now over 6.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, dude. Um. So yeah, so like that, and so Joyce's like, you know what? Let's just. I don't want to go out anywhere anymore. Like she's kind of become like a home buddy now too, which is good. Helps me out. So yeah, we just been. I mean, I really wish that I could get her into some of the, oh, this movie's so old, I don't want to watch it. Although I think I may have started to like get her like um into possibly watching Goodfellas,
Hmm.
and I'm possibly getting her to watch The Godfather.
Nice. I mean, come on, like
Uh,
Godfather.
yeah, but I kind of wish that she would have like a less discriminating taste. Like, listen, like, because I'll watch anything. Now I might not always like it. It's like, oh, this movie kind of sucks. But hey, that's gonna happen every once in a while. Like, you watch like some of the good ones, and you're gonna come into some bad ones, or more often than not, you're gonna come and it's like, that was fun. It was okay. It's not like the greatest thing in the world. There's things I liked about it, but I don't. It's not great.
Hmm.
Um, but I kind of wish that it would. hell, it'd make my life a lot easier. It's like, hey, we're gonna be doing these movies. You want to watch them with me? Sure, let's watch those. But it's like sometimes it's like
Right, yeah, all the
it's
pre-qualifiers, like, oh, when was it made? Is it black and white? Is there any
yeah.
boobies in it?
Yeah, well, it's dude, it's like that scene in Old Boy where the guy is like pulling his teeth.
Mm.
It's like it feels like that where like it's like pulling out teeth trying to get her to watch some stuff sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like then there's like when we do watch the movies like who's this character? Why are they doing that? Well, what do you say when I was asking what they're doing? It's like if you just if you just stayed quiet for 10 minutes, your questions would be answered.
It's
No,
like it's like the movie will tell you the answer if you just watch it. It's call me strange, but I think that's how it works.
yeah, it's like that's kind of now afterwards. I feel like okay, I don't understand like this part, this part, this part. Why did this happen? And there's even sometimes where like I'll finish the film, it's like, what the fuck just happened?
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes that the movie works out that way. It doesn't make sense. But then there's other times where the films will do something where it's like, okay, it is more of left up to your interpretation of the clues that are given, and it's like, okay, well, I think this, and this happened, kind of causing this is why I feel like this is what the movie is going for. Well, I saw this, and this, and I think this happened, and that's where the fun happens. So okay, well, let's watch it again. Let's see if like maybe we missed something, like a movie like Memento. I catch something new every time I watch that movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen it quite a few times. Shutter Island. That's a movie that I think that you can kind of catch new things every time. Um, and that's the fun part of it. But sometimes, with Joyce, sometimes she has a hard time with that. And that's okay, I guess. I mean, we still have a good time. Like I got her to watch all the Scream films with me, and that we actually had a good time with that. Those films are all really solid. I'm really surprised it does not have the same level of sequel degradation as a lot of franchises do.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, the first one is definitely the best, but all the sequels are all really solid.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, it's so. I mean, but I think I've lured her into being able to watch The Godfather. I made sure to show her like the like kind of like the 50th anniversary trailer,
Mm.
so that she would like it was like in 4K, so it didn't look like it was super old.
Mm.
So that and I
Oh
have
my gosh.
and I have the Blu-ray of the trilogy, so I might be able to get away with like, oh yeah, this movie came out like it's only like 30 years old. It's like it's not 50. It's 50 years old. It's like it's set in like an old time period, but that it only came out like a few years ago because the Blu-ray looks
Lying to your
fucking.
wife, Rob. Tisk tisk.
Hey, but then afterwards, after she watches it and likes it, it's like, you know what, honey, this movie came out in 1972. What? She would like Hitchcock films too. That's the thing. She likes that stuff. She would love Rear Window.
Mm.
I mean, you watch the remake with Disturbia, which is it's also pretty good, but it's like it's not Rear Window.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's like the same elements and things like that, but it's not the
I'll
same.
say they did a good job with modernizing it. I will admit that.
Mm.
Um, but there's just something about Rear Window that it's so amazing. It's a good, and she likes a good psychopath in a movie, and that movie definitely does. And it has a good mystery.
Mm.
Plus, Grace Kelly is just woo.
Yeah, the Princess of Monaco.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know if told you this, but Grace Kelly is the reason why so many Korean girls are named Grace.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah, it's not because of like the Christianity, and it's because of
I
Grace
would
Kelly.
that was the case.
No,
Get
no,
out.
it's because of Grace Kelly.
Damn.
Yeah, because Korean people really like Grace Kelly. They thought like she was like the pinnacle of like beauty, and so they named her. They started. Koreans started naming their daughters after Grace Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, once Alfred Hitchcock, because he put Grace Kelly in everything he could, and when she retired, like he never recaptured that. Like he wanted to find the next Grace Kelly, it never happened,
Never
and
happened.
he treated all of them so horrible. Like Tippi Hedren,
Mm.
Janet Leigh, uh, Julie Andrews. It just never,
Wait,
it
Julie
never.
Andrews was in a Hitchcock movie?
Yes, Torn Curtain with
Oh,
Paul Newman.
that's the one. I haven't heard of that one.
Torn Curtain is amazing.
Okay.
That's a good so. That's not a horror movie. It's a spy thriller. Uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and Julie
That's
Andrews
probably
is
why he doesn't get that much love.
it. Yeah, it doesn't. It. I didn't know about it until like a couple of years ago because they had a Hitchcock collection on Criterion on the streaming service.
Mm.
And I was like, whoa, I haven't heard of half of these films. Like, let's check these out. So I watched Torn Curtain. I watched There's Something About Harry. That is a fun film. That is a really, really dark comedy.
Mm-hmm.
What else did I watch that was like from his collection that I was like, oh, this is a good movie. I forgot which one another one I watched, but I was like, yeah, Torn Curtain, and The Trouble with Harry is the other one,
Mm-hmm.
and the both those movies just really stood out to me. I was like, damn, these are good movies. So it's just kind of like there's still like these elements of like the Hitchcock library that I have not gotten to yet that I would because he did a lot of movies. I also have not watched any of his stuff like after the Birds, like after his like at the end of his golden age run.
Mm-hmm.
Like I haven't seen Topaz, I haven't seen like Family Plot, any of that stuff. So I'd have to watch that. I've seen some of the early stuff, like Notorious is really good, and Sabotage. I haven't seen his. I think he did a couple of silent films, and I haven't seen some of his like all of his like uh, pre-Hollywood films, like all the ones that he did, through like English studios.
Mm-hmm.
So before he moved over to the United States. I haven't seen a lot of those. So I mean, I still have some gaps in the Hitchcock library. But yes, Julie Andrews was in a Hitchcock film.
Interesting. Interesting.
Oh, one last movie that I wanted to talk about too before we get to our Simpsons reviews. So I don't have you ever seen a movie called Failsafe?
Is that the one with Jodie Foster?
No. So this is back in. This came out right around. I think this came out before Doctor Strangelove. So
Oh.
it's a movie with it stars Henry Fonda, Walter Matthau. Who the fuck else is in this movie? There's a bunch of like let me see. Let me pull up the cast list.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are the two big main stars. Has a bunch of other guys that are in there where it's like oh, I've seen this guy in that thing. It's a bunch of those
Yeah,
character actors.
familiar faces. Yeah.
this is what I expected Doctor Strangelove to be. Like, kind of like, because I went into Doctor Strangelove thinking that it was going to be a serious film, not expecting it to be a comedy, and
Right.
which is why, like, I initially I was like, I didn't like Doctor Strangelove because, like, this is so silly. What the fuck is this? Uh, so this is like what I expected Doctor Strangelove to be. It's a very serious version of Doctor Strangelove,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really good. This would be a good like double feature if you were gonna do like a double feature, doing Failsafe and Doctor Strangelove, because they're kind of talking about the same topic, but they approach it in different ways. Whereas, like, Kubrick was wanting to kind of like, as they were writing this film, they couldn't stop laughing at how ridiculous all this is,
Mm-hmm.
and so they made it into a comedy. And I should have guessed with Peter Sellers in the damn movie.
Mm.
Um, and then who directed Failsafe? Oh, it's Sidney Lumet. Did the directed this one. The guy who did 12 Angry Men
Mm-hmm.
and a bunch of other like really good good movies. That guy has a lot of good movies in his filmography.
Mm.
So yeah, I watched that too. It also free on Tubi right now. It's really good. I highly recommend it. And I'm wondering if I maybe didn't remember it, but maybe I had seen Failsafe before, and I didn't remember that I had watched it, and so that's why I was like, when I went into Doctor Strangelove, I was like, oh, this is gonna be. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be serious, and it wasn't. I was like, wait a second, what
Mm.
the hell am I watching? So could have been one of those things where it's like the kind of the clouded Mandela effect of like all the movies I've seen. It just kind of merged into something.
Perhaps. Anything's possible.
But yeah, Walter Matthau does not get enough credit. Like, a lot of people remember all his like comedies, like Dennis the Menace, Grumpy Old Men, The Apartment. But his serious roles, he's really freaking good. Taking a Pelham 123,
Mm-hmm.
A Face in the Crowd, Failsafe. He is a solid actor. This guy like he has a lot of range.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not. I have to admit that I'm not familiar with Walter Matthau's more serious stuff, but I'm looking forward to finding out.
Yeah, I recommend his serious roles. He's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't have anything else to say. Should we dive into the to our favorite Simpsons shorts from the Halloween episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, you are the
Let's
older
do
one
it.
of us, so why don't you start us off?
I guess to start us off, I have to start from the very first one, and that's the recitation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
Dude, that's so I tried to show my wife that one. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, I tried to show her the first Halloween special one.
Uh huh.
She was out.
Oh my
She didn't
gosh,
like it.
she didn't
But
like it.
no, she didn't like it. I liked it.
I know. Yeah, that's right. She didn't like it.
No.
Oh my gosh. Another reason to hate your wife.
Yeah. So what about that do you like? I mean, obviously, other than James Earl Jones reciting Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
Yeah, I just thought it's one of those really interesting ways of what is it? Introducing classical literature to an audience, and even like a younger audience. I mean, I know The Simpsons wasn't necessarily marketed towards kids, but I'm sure a lot like a lot of us when we were younger, we watched stuff that wasn't necessarily marketed for us, but it's just kind of like the Looney Tunes cartoons that incorporated like classical music in their
Right.
shorts. It was a way to expose children to classical music without them even realizing. Like I know about I know about Mozart, I know about Beethoven, I know about different operas like the Barber of Figueroa, or
Oh, dude, yeah.
no the Barber of something S, Seville, Barber of Seville.
Yeah.
There you go. The song is Figaro. Um, so yeah, I really appreciate it for that aspect of being exposing classical, like, I mean, I know it's not considered classical literature, but it's classical American literature. But and it's
Well,
like and it's told in a very and it's told in a very humorous way, because through the lens of the Simpsons, Homer being like the troubled uh, soul, and like the Raven being Bart.
Nevermore.
Nevermore.
And
It just works. It just works.
Castellaneta does a good job too with that one, because it is a mixture of James Earl Jones and Dan Castellaneta, doing kind
Oh
of
yeah,
like the
going ping ponging off each other. Yeah.
yeah, and they do a great job. It's a
Mm-hmm.
really good episode, or a good short.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole episode has actually, it's a good variety of stuff. You get the Twilight Zone of like the cookbook,
Yeah, yeah.
and you get and was it Poltergeist with like the bad dream house? Isn't
Yeah,
that
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like where
yeah.
the house is like all fucked up
Haunted.
and has
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So you get like some of these like great horror classics. I mean, the fact that they're going back to like the 19th century and talking about Edgar Allan Poe,
Mm-hmm.
damn, like that's awesome.
I know, right?
Um,
What about you? I guess
so
we could ping pong back from one another.
okay, I would have to go with. Well, let me I gotta pull up the list here. So the one I believe it's from fifth, the fifth one.
Mm-hmm. The
Let
fifth
me see.
season.
Yeah, so or like the fifth
Oh, the
Treehouse
fifth
of
one. Yeah, the fifth.
uh let's see here. Sorry, I'm pulling it up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
There is it's the one where like he what Homer gets the evil Krusty doll. It's obviously it's a spoof off of Child's Play,
Yeah.
and they that scene of like him where like he's going to like this evil like shop, like the shop of like evil things
Uh,
or cursed items. And it's like, do you sell any children's toys? Like, we sell forbidden objects, that of like for that cursed man or something like that. And it's like, well, I'll take the Krusty doll. It's like, oh, but the Krusty doll is cursed. Ooh, that's bad. But it comes with a free Frogurt. That's good. It's also cursed. Ooh,
and
that's
that's
bad.
bad.
But it comes with a free topping. That's good. The toppings are contain potassium benzoate. That's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Homer's confused, like, that's bad.
But and then the other thing that was fun about that. So obviously the doll's trying to kill Homer, and then he wraps it up in like his like old with a bunch of his old socks, chains it into a briefcase, and then he goes down and throws it into the bottomless pit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, see you later, evil doll. And then you have like the gangster. It's like arrivederci Vito.
Yeah.
And then you have like, I was a fool to think that someone would want to see these naked Whoopi Goldberg pictures, and he throws that down the hole, and it pops up. I was like, whoa!
Oh yeah, and the box comes flying back up at him.
Yeah. So
Oh man.
that short has like a lot of the great moments where it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I like I like a lot of the dialogue, and a
Oh
good.
yeah, and I remember how that one particularly ends. It's like it's funny how like the solution was so simple. It's like like here this like the technician comes in. It's like see here's your problem. Your doll was set to evil. And
Yeah,
it's just switched like to good.
I always love the guy that does like the Charles Bronson voice. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, here's your problem. It's your doll was set to the evil. And it's
Yeah. oh, that's a great one. That's a great one. What is it? I just had it in my head. God, what was it? The one where Homer, fixes the toaster and turns into like a time travel machine.
yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah, that one's great. It's just, it's like he goes back in time and it's like he tries to remember like he's like like my dad gave me some advice about this and like the thought bubble comes up and it's like Grandpa Simpson
If you
telling him
travel back in time, make
like
sure not to touch anything.
yeah, because it's like it's like if you screw if like one thing out of place like could have dire consequences. And then what is it like he kills like a giant mosquito flying around and then like all sorts of hijinks ensue
Ow.
like yeah and then like I love it how like when the toaster like pops back up that's when it like it sends him back to his own time and it's great because like there's like a lot of different scenarios but I think the greatest one was where Flanders like rules the earth.
Yeah, it's like, what's that nerd Flanders doing on TV?
I know.
We have a problem in Sector 2.
Yeah.
We need for a re-education.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like it's kind of like the guise of I mean I know we were going to really talk politics but it's kind of like what's happening these days like under the guise of love and tolerance and acceptance like they certain elements of the political left like are trying to re-educate the population. I mean
yeah, it does have a lot of that element to it too where it's like
yeah. But I know it's like this is played up for more comedic effect because Flanders is such like so seen as like this nice guy, and even like his authoritarianism is disguised with hi diddly dees and like don't like negarinos and
yeah
but it's just like it's just like in real life the left is just doing a really bad job of that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and it's like it's like all these other scenarios. Like I think my favorite one was where Homer has like the perfect life. He lives in a nice house. His children are well behaved. His sister-in-laws are dead, and everything is just like perfect. And then he's like, oh, it was like like Marge, would you please hand me a donut? And then like she's like, what's a donut? And like he freaks out, and then uses the time toaster again. And all of a sudden it starts raining, and it's like donuts.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's raining again.
I was like, oh, it's raining again. And he's like, if you just waited for like that, 3 seconds, then he literally would have had the perfect life.
Yeah, it's like whoops. It's like
yeah.
What are donuts? What's this? Like donuts are plentiful. It's like
it's like what color's the sky? He's like, what's Friday night?
Yeah.
And then it's like and I love how it ends because it's just like he just takes like the best like he kind of just takes like it for what it is, and it ends up being like everyone has like serpentine tongues and that's how like they eat, and just like close enough.
Yeah, that one's a good one. God, that was one of the ones I was gonna choose too.
Mm-hmm.
I like what's another one that I really ended up liking. I do like the one where whatchamacallit, where Dial it's called the short is called Dial Z for Zombies, where Bart is it starts off with like him like doing his book report, but he does like the toddler like from A to Z. It's like from A apple to Z zebra. It's 26 pages of action packed fun. It's like, did you do a book report on a book for toddlers? Like, you need to read another book, Bart. Oh, and so he ends up going to the library and like he starts to read some other like dumb like kids book, and it's like, hey, I've never seen this section before. It's like
Right.
the occult
Yeah,
section.
yeah. It's like it's very gothic with like like the stone and like the gargoyles.
Yeah, and it's like so you see like so Bart like he starts to read the book, and it's he starts to like a lot of these phrases. The best part is like when him and Lisa are in the cemetery, like they're trying to resurrect her dead cat.
Yeah,
But he
playing
has
off of Pet Cemetery.
yeah. So he makes his hat out of the Thriller album.
That's right.
Which is great. And it's like, Bart, it's not working. And it's like, but it's like, oh no, it's like it was all the human zombies that came up. It's like, Dad, we made a huge mistake. It's like, what'd you do? Wreck the car? No. Did you raise the dead? Yes. But the car's okay.
Like,
Yeah. Okay then.
Oh yeah.
So and then you have like where so like the zombies are attacking the town. They get Flanders. It's like he opens the door to the zombie.
Go on.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Sue, what's her face? Like, I thought you were dead. It's like, rah, and like, and it's like, and so they see the Simpsons. They see the zombies hordes. Like, it's like, Homer, did you make sure to like barricade the door?
It's like, what for?
What for? It's like, oh yeah, the zombies. They all knock down the door. It's like, brains, like, and he like Homer goes in front of his fans like, it's like, don't take my family, eat me, brains. It's like, it's like,
brains, yeah.
And the best part is like he gets all mad because he's like, yeah, how dare you?
Yeah. Although my favorite, that being one of them, but also one of my favorites is like when, it's like, when they go to try and fix things, and then Homer's like, it's like, quick to the book depository, and then like he's like shooting all the zombies with a shotgun, and then Flanders comes around, and then he's like, hey Homer, I'm feeling a little peckish. Mind if I nibble on your ear? And he shoots him. And Bart's like, it's like, Dad, you killed the zombie Flanders. And then he's like, he was a zombie?
Dude, that one is so freaking good. Yeah, that one was fun. And then even like when they're going through the school, it's like, where he starts like shooting all the historical figures like George Washington, Shakespeare.
Oh yeah, it's like, take this, Washington. Eat lead, Einstein. Show's over, Shakespeare.
Dude, I can watch that one like.
Oh man, that is a good one.
So yeah, that's one of my favorites.
I would have picked that one too. Yeah. For me, kind of similar, but the Omega Man.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, kind of another zombie one, but yeah, it's what is it? The mayor of Springfield insults the French president, and then in retaliation, the French launch a neutron bomb, at Springfield, killing everybody or supposedly killing everybody, but leaving all of the buildings intact. I just love like that opener where after the missile was launched and the missile's like coming in, and you see comic book guy, and he's like reading a comic, and as he sees the missile coming in, it's like, oh, I wasted my life, and then like there's like the big explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that movie.
I forgot about the Omega Man. I did because I didn't watch every single episode or every single horror Treehouse of Horror this week. Surprisingly. But yeah, that one is really good. What the hell is that one from?
I think that one was also had the one where with the teleporter and like Bart turns into a fly.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a
The
good one
Bart
too.
turning.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
hmm
Um,
but yeah, it's it's just like and Homer, he at the time of the detonation, he's off looking at like fallout shelters. Um, and then like after the explosion happens, you see the armored surplus guy, his skeleton just standing there, and then Homer just like is eating like some freeze dried like
yeah,
stewed beef beef stew, and it's like, oh, you call that beef stew? It's like casually just like walks and like puts it on puts it the empty can on his arm, and it causes the skeleton to crumble, and he's kind of like going about his normal activity. He's like driving his car. It's like at a traffic light, and it's green. It's like, I'm gonna give this guy a piece of my mind. He goes like, it's green, idiot, and like punches the obvious skeleton, turning it into
yeah.
turning into dust, and it's like, haha, still got it.
I'm gonna have to watch that one after we're done with the stream because
Yeah.
I didn't see that one this past week. God, that one's a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
Um,
great because it's like kind of like the it's a story of like the Omega Man, like I Am Legend, and like it doesn't like the bomb doesn't kill off everybody, it just mutates them.
it's
Um,
kind of almost like I Am Legend or Omega Man. Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
yeah, but I just love at
Uh,
the end when like he Homer, because Homer thinks like he's the last person on in town, and but he's not, and then like he gets to his house, and like his house, and like when he gets there, his family is fine, and it turns out it's like, oh, the house is like coated in so much lead paint that it was like the perfect bomb shelter.
yeah, it's like yeah, it's always like a nice little thing on there. It's like, oh, good.
Yeah, and then
Um,
yeah, and I love at the end where it's like, like they try to make peace with the zombies, and it's like and it's funny because it was Marge of all people, and it's like, oh, like it's like, oh, that's a beautiful sentiment. I think it's like normies and zombies can get along, and all of a sudden like Marge and the kids like pull out shotguns and waste them, and then at the end she's like, it's like to think like humans and and mutants getting a living and get living together in peace and harmony.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, that was a good episode. At the end, it's
yeah.
like Homer's like, all right, it's like to the family, he's like, all right, who wants to go drive some Ferraris?
Yeah. Let's see. I also really liked what was the one that I really liked? Terror at 5.5 feet. Which is that whole episode was kind of they were doing a parody of Night Gallery, which was the Rod Serling show after Twilight Zone.
Mhm.
I don't know if you ever watched Night Gallery. Not quite as
Uh,
good as Twilight Zone, but still pretty damn good.
mhm.
Um, but essentially, it is a Twilight Zone spoof off of Terror at 20,000 Feet that William Shatner's in.
Right. Yeah. There's
And it's like,
something on the wing.
yeah.
Something.
But yeah, I really really enjoyed that episode just because it's just this like the gremlin kind of has like a Homer Simpson look to it, like it's like bald, has like the Homer Simpson head
Mhm.
with like the gnarly teeth,
Mhm.
and he's trying to do everything he can to help like save the bus, and like once they finally do stop the bus, it's like I was right, see, like because the bus is all fucked up from like the
Right.
gremlin,
Uh-huh.
and it's like I was right, it was a monster. It's like that's no reason to interrupt to be a disturbance, young man. It's like maybe spending a lifetime in a mental asylum will change, will fix it. And And it's like the other part too that was funny too, because he did finally knock the gremlin off the bus,
Mhm.
and it rolls off, and then Ned Flanders hits him, and it
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, isn't he so cute? He's trying to claw my eyes
I know. It's
out.
like he's like, oh, look at that, and then it's like, oh, that's cute. He's trying to claw my eyes out.
And it's like, but at the end of the episode, it was like with him.
Yeah, in the
It's
back
like,
of the ambulance, and it's like, oh, finally, it's a
God,
peace and
you really
quiet.
hurt.
Yeah, and
Ah!
like the gremlins there holding up Ned's head, severed head.
Yeah. The other thing that I thought was funny too, just like where him and Millhouse were like showing, it's like, oh right, I got what was it like eighth edition of the Krusty trading cards, like Krusty goes visits relatives in like Omaha, Nebraska,
Mm-hmm.
and Krusty the Clown poses for a trading card. So like,
Yeah.
man, really run out of ideas. Oh
Yeah.
my god, that one's it's not maybe not the best one, but like I don't know why I really really like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, it was fun.
Mm. Um. Oh, another one. The Citizen Kang, the one with the aliens come and
Yeah. Where like Kang and Kodos, they
yeah,
essentially take over the bodies of Bush. Was not Bush. Bob Dole and
Bill
Clinton.
Clinton. Yeah,
Yeah, I totally forgot
yeah,
about that one. Oh, I'm gonna use the
yeah.
bathroom real quick. You talk. I'll be listening.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Just that episode, of course, kind of riffing off the title Citizen Kane. Yeah, the aliens come and you know disguise themselves as the prospective clients. I mean, not clients, candidates for that presidential election, and that being Bill Clinton and Bob Dole. Um, and so they go around like, and so whoever gets elected, like they'll be the ones uh, to rule the planet. And so Homer, he's the only one that knows about this, and then he tries to help, but they because for some reason they keep the original Bill Clinton and Bob Dole alive, and they're like, oh, if we get out of here, we'll put an end to our petty squabbling and work together to create a utopia. And then like Homer's trying to get them out of like the storage tubes, and he accidentally presses the eject button, and like or and basically spaces Bob Dole and Bill Clinton, leaving no viable candidate. Uh, and then when it's revealed that the aliens posing as the candidates, like they make the snide remarks like, "Ha, it's like you guys have a two-party system. You have to vote for one of us."
It's like he's like, what are you gonna do? Vote for a third candidate?
I
And
know
it's like you
third-party candidates like
front row punching through his hat. It's like
Yeah, and I mean, and eventually, Kang comes into power, and like they're enslaved, and it's so funny because Homer's like, don't blame me, I voted for Kodos.
yeah.
That was gonna be better.
Oh man. Oh, I totally forgot about that one. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it's so like it it's so funny because it's telling you what the truth is, because it doesn't matter like who you vote for, you're still gonna be a slave.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's it. Yeah, that's that's kind of the sad reality of everything.
I know, it's just like, yeah, like they might dress it up and like say like, oh, it's your choice, and then it's like, yeah, it's your choice and who enslaves you.
Yeah.
It's,
The God, Was it? So another one that I was trying to check out like some of the newer ones that
Mm-hmm.
I had kind of missed.
Mm-hmm.
There's one, I think it was what was it? Oh, I think it was like Treehouse of Horror 26, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, it's like where Bart goes to school in hell,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, I don't know why I found that so fun, but it was really. I thought what I liked about it is so they Bart, is in detention, stuck in detention. He's just kind of fucking around, like, because there's nothing to do. He's just trapped at school, and he's like, he sees like all these markings on one of the desks. He's like, what the heck? What is this? And like he wipes off some of the dust, and like the flame shoots off the desk. Like, whoa! And so he gets Lisa to like come and like take it, like, oh, what is this? Or I think he's trying to like he was trying to get her to touch it so it would burn her,
Mm-hmm.
but she's like, oh wow, this is ancient Aramaic. And so she translates it, and it's like whoever reads this gets summoned into a portal in hell. And so they both get sucked into this hell school, uh
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of have like they was it Bart turns into like this like pan looking creature with like
Mm-hmm.
the goat legs and like the
Yeah.
horns.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, I forget what she turns into, but essentially like uh she ends up becoming like popular all of a sudden at school,
Mm-hmm.
and like it starts snowing. It's like, wow, it must be a cold day in hell because like I became popular. So uh, but then like Bart all of a sudden like he starts like, what, I'm getting like the right answers, like he's like the brightest student in school in
Right.
hell.
Oh.
And so he the him and Lisa transport back, they go back into like their own dimension, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
they go back, and they get teleported into Mr. Burns's office. Like, thank you for using the Burns heliport. It's like but then Bart is like, Mom, Dad, like I found a school like where like I actually want to learn, and like they're teaching me. And it
Mm-hmm.
turns out it's like this he's trying to get into this school in hell, and he's getting good grades and all that stuff, and like the I think like his final exam, like I was like, oh, you have to like torture somebody like from Earth. And it turns out that it's Homer that he has to torture. It's like, oh, I don't want to torture you, Dad. It's like, it's okay, son. Like, you're doing a great job. And like he ends up torturing Homer and all that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not like one of like like one of those great classic episodes, but for whatever reason, I just found it really enjoyable. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea that like Bart kind of won a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. Like
Mm-hmm.
it took him going to hell to succeed, but I kind of liked it.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, another hell themed episode. I forget what it's called. The title is, but it's when Homer makes that deal with Satan, Devil Flanders,
Oh
for
yeah,
a donut for his soul.
I think it's called Homer and the Devil is
Mm.
the yeah. Let me hold on, I'm gonna pull that up real quick. I think it is.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that episode. Just the concept of like Homer, like because he's at work and like he wants a donut, but they're all out, and it's like, oh, I'll sell my soul, for a donut. And all of a sudden like the devil appears, but it's like Flanders, and it's like Flanders, like it's like it's like it's always the least like, and he made that slight like that wry comment, it's like, oh, it's always the last person you expect.
Yeah, oh yeah, Homer versus the Devil. That's what it was.
Homer versus the devil.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it, like how like he's like the devil hasn't even finished has only begun like telling about like the stipulation and stuff, and like he's already like wolfed down the donut, and it's like, and then he's like stops himself like, so if I finish this donut, then you take my soul. It's like, yeah. So if I don't finish it, then you can't have my soul. It's like, yeah. It's like, I'm smarter than devil. Yeah. It's like, well, technically, it's like, yeah, I'm smarter than devil.
I'm smarter than. And it's like, you are not smarter than me.
Yeah, they go. Yeah, it goes all beast mode. It's like, you are not smarter than the devil.
Oh, dude! And the best part is like when they just like when they do have like the trial, and it's like, of course they have Lionel Hutz, and it's like we'll have bathroom breaks every 15 minutes. Sold. Number 2, I choose the jury. It's like, oh crap, it's like. It's like, and he chooses like, it was Benedict Arnold, Lizzie Borden. Richard Nixon's like, hey, I'm not dead yet, because he wasn't dead.
Yeah, he wasn't dead at the time. Yeah, but it's like, hey, I did you a favor.
Yeah. The line from the 1976 Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah. But yeah, what is it? And more and more like Lionel Hutz is screwing up, and it looks like it's gonna the devil's gonna take Homer's soul, but then Marge intervenes and shows them a picture from their wedding day, and Homer tries to eat the entire cake, and he had to get a stomach pump, but then on the back of that picture he professes his love and it's like, oh, you have my soul, and so
so technically he's the owner of the soul. Yeah.
But I love like at the end, like when the devil curses him, it's like, oh, may that donut be forever on your head, and then like cut to the next morning, and it's like Homer, and he has a donut for a head, and he's like picking at himself, and it's like, oh, but I'm so delicious, right? And he's like, oh, time for work, and it's like I forget if it's Marge or one of the kids, but like, oh, you better not go outside, and it's like the cops are all waiting for him with cups of coffee.
He's got to come out sometime.
Yeah.
One part that I forgot to mention on one of the episodes you mentioned, which was the traveling back in time one, was called Time and Punishment. Mm-hmm. The part of it that I really enjoyed about that episode too was like where he's like when he first travels back in time, it's like, wow, I'm the first non-Brazilian to travel back in time. It's like, what is that? What? And then you see like that like from the Rocky and Bullwinkle series, like was it Mr. Peabody?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whoa, Mr. Peabody, like it's like it's another time traveler. It's like, shut up, you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, great. Oh yeah, great.
I forget the name of the boy with the glasses, but yeah, it's like the
Sherman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Sherman and Peabody. That's right.
Yeah.
It's like, but I was like, what is that reference to? It's like, wow, I'm the first non-Brazilian person to travel back in time. What the fuck?
What is that about?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It always makes me laugh because it's so ridiculous.
I know. It's like of all the things he could have said, like, I'm the first, non-American first American or first non, whatever. But it's like first non-Brazilian. What is? I'm like curious now. What is that in reference
to? Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm also a big fan of Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace. That's the one where it's essentially the Nightmare on Elm Street parody.
Right, yeah.
Willie,
Groundskeeper Willie, yeah.
Yeah. I think that was really well done. Mm-hmm. I thought like some of the deaths of like the kids were cool, like especially Martin, like where he gets like strangled to death by like his tongue.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's like, oh man, like he's like dreaming of like his God, he has such a lame dream, like where he's like a math magician.
Math magician.
Whoa, that. You know what's also funny though? Okay, so here's the funny thing, because there's that the episode like where they're at Martin's party, and where Skinner and Mrs. Krabappel hook up.
Yeah.
Remember how he has the like where he like the big draw of his party was the math magician,
Yeah.
and it's like, wait a second, like that's not, there shouldn't be a remainder there. It's like, and he's like you know, oh, and it's like, watch as I make this remainder disappear, and he's like doing like long division. It's like, but he fucked up the equation, because like it's like it was like 7 into like 28, and it's like there shouldn't be a remainder. It's like he fucked the whole thing up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't know if this is the same season, but then like in this one, Martin's dreaming of himself as a mathematician, and like, or like he was like, he had the same like kind of outfit as the mathematician. He was also doing like, but he also had like all the, he's a I'm a math magician. I'm a master of the English declension and all this stuff. It's like, what a fucking nerd! Like those are his dreams.
Yeah, I mean, Martin is an uber nerd for sure.
Oh my god! It's just like, what? I never made that connection before. It's like, wow, what a fucking geek. No wonder he gets like made fun of all the time.
Yeah.
So he obviously he dies. And so, and I also like how like when, the next day after, like, you know, Bart had his dream, like wherever, like where he got raked across the chest, and then like Nelson came in, it's like he ran his floor buffer over me. He's like all shiny.
Yeah.
And, Lisa had like her hair cut, like, you know,
Oh,
like
with
all
this
weird.
with this shears, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just, it was so like, and it's like, well, like when they tell like, mom, like, you know, we're being attacked in our dreams, like, you know, or Martin died at school today. It's like, well, I don't see what this has to do with groundskeeper Willie. It's like, we have to tell the story. It's like, well, it was the 13th day of the 13th month of, or whatever. It's like, and like we went to a school meeting to talk about misprinted calendars. It's like, oh, lousy March weather.
March
You know,
weather.
it's like,
Oh.
like, don't touch Willie. Good advice. And like, oh, he like turns up like
Yeah, it turns
the
up the
heater.
furnace. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, don't touch Willie.
Oh yeah. Good advice. Oh, that's great.
uh it's just all these
Well,
like
okay.
these dumb little jokes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like, and then, it's like, and then like, so it's like, okay, you know, it's like, Bart, we can't, there's no way that we're gonna be able to stay awake. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go into the dream world and I'm gonna take down Willie. It's like, if you start to see, like, you know, if something happens to me, you wake me up. And so like he goes in, like he you know, Willie's like this, you know, giant like tractor thing, and he sets it up like where he creates like a quicksand, and it's like, and I say, all right, and he starts to sing. It's like, oh, all right, I got him. It's like, now I can go back to, like, you know, my normal dreams, like me and Krusty winning the Super Bowl, and it's like, the best part is like the way of what like Krusty's saying. It's like, all right, it's your classic Statue of Liberty play. It's like, and it's like he's doing this, like, you know, Newt Rockney called it the forward pass. It's like, so it's just a regular play. You know, the Statue of Liberty trick play is like, it's all backwards. It's like, what the? I just, it's done so quickly. Whereas like if you're not a football fan, you'd be like, okay, what? It's like, okay,
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
But as a football fan, it's like, wait a second, this is backwards. The forward pass is the normal one, not like it's your standard Statue of Liberty play. That's not what it is.
Right.
You know, and then like then he like Willie starts to come out as like this like giant spider
Bagpipe. Yeah.
bagpipe thing. It's like, and it's like Bart like it's like like she ends up falling asleep, so they're in the dream together. And then like Maggie's the one that saves the day, like where she sticks the pacifier in like the little bagpipes hole, and it's like oh, and then he explodes. So yeah, it's just like a fun little dumb episode, dumb short. But I think it's a great little parody of like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, it works. I guess okay for me, I'm gonna. I don't know if this is against the rules, but it's a twofer. But it involves groundskeeper Willie in that it's the Shining
The Shining.
the Shining the short and the what is it the one where they eat the kids.
Nightmare Cafeteria.
Nightmare Cafeteria. That's right. Because they both involve like my favorite gag, and that's groundskeeper Willie getting an axe to the back.
All three of the episodes, all three of the shorts
right.
have the axe to
the
back.
Yeah. I forget what the other one was.
Oh, that was. So let's see. Hold on a second. I gotta pull that up.
It's the Shining, Nightmare Cafeteria, and then.
Let me pull that up. That was this.
Yeah, but it's like the Shining one.
It was Treehouse of Horror 5.
Oh, that was an early one.
Yeah.
Oh wait, was that was the one with the time traveling one?
Yes, yes it was.
Because Willie does get an axe. There you go. Okay, so I just picked that's my favorite season then, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the times that one of the things that Homer travels to is like where it's like Homer, you're still not in your own time, and like he takes the axe back, and it's like Maggie takes out her passport. It's like this truly is a disturbing universe, which is James Earl Jones doing the voice.
Yeah, and then what is it in the Shining one, the Shining parody? He gets the axe to the back. It's like, is that the best you got? And then like, boom, he dies. And then in the Nightmare Cafeteria one, he's like, oh, I'm coming to save the lot of you. And then Principal Skinner, puts the axe in his back. He's like, oh, I'm bad at this.
Yeah, the Treehouse of Horror 5 is like just they're all
all three of them are great.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I totally forgot that. Yeah, those are all the same ones.
That was from the same special. But yeah, that's like those are I really do like those shorts. But then like my favorite gag in all of them is Willie getting an axe to the back.
Yeah, and they all kind of like have their different, like they all have like kind of like a similar theme, and I have to say like even in like the new ones. I mean, obviously they're doing they're doing it off of like newer stuff, like they're parodying. But man, it's still really solid stuff. They're doing a really good job with like because they can kind of just do whatever.
Yeah.
With the Halloween shorts, they can kind of do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, and it's not canon, or I mean, not that.
Yeah, exactly. So that it's just a lot of fun. I think like the other, kind of the, my, I don't know if it would be like my favorite of all time, but like one that I think of quite a bit is, you said The Shining. That was one of mine. I do. What was the? I do also enjoy Homer Cubed.
Oh yeah, the
3D where one becomes 3D. That is a very fun episode. just because it's so different. I mean, I think that's maybe the first and only time that The Simpsons are in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of reminded me. I don't. Did you ever watch like a cartoon or back like in the early days of like the 3D technology, like where they were doing animated shows like reboots or
Yeah.
yeah, or even like the Beast Wars was in that same kind of thing. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's what they were doing with like this particular short of The
Mm-hmm.
Simpsons. They were doing that. It kind of had that look to it.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of fun, and just like the idea is like I'm somewhere where I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
The
Classic
shower.
line.
Hey, it's like
Oh yeah, it's like, it kind of had a Poltergeist vibe too. Because like there's like a portal, and then like Homer went through it, and then like the Reverend comes like, Homer, do you see a light? It's like, yes. It's like
yes,
walk. It's like walk into the light, and they like walk, and he gets electrocuted.
yeah. It's like this is your physician, Dr. Julius Hibbert. It's like
Yeah.
it's the first time like where Homer realized like I'm so pudgy.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, like being 3D and like existing in 3 dimensions.
Yeah, so like I said, it's not. I wouldn't say it's my favorite episode, but like I think that's one that I know of. Like because I was talking with some of the people that showed up on Saturday. I was like, hey, what are your guys' like favorite like Halloween episodes from The Simpsons? Because they're all Simpsons fans. Like, and the majority of people said, yeah, I love Homer Cube. That's my favorite one. Like where he turns into like a 3D dimensional character. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, like 'cause a lot of people, because more people are like towards you, like they love the Shinning episode, like short,
Yeah.
which is a great one,
Mm-hmm.
and I would agree. But yeah, I wanted to bring up like where I was shocked at how many people said, yeah, dude, Homer Cubed is awesome. Like that one's really fun. I was like, that that's not one I would have thought would been like that's one of the top ones, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people love that short.
Yeah. Surprising. It's still, yeah, and then like what is it? Because like Cone like pokes him in the butt, and like he takes it and like throws it, and like which causes like a black hole thing, and at the end of the
Yeah,
episode is him like and being in our world, quote unquote. And it's funny, he like passes like this bakery, and it's like, ooh, erotic cakes.
erotic cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
Uh, enough. So, a couple of honorable mentions that I wanted to talk about were the. Hold on a second. I had the title of the short. Uh, One was Reaper Madness, where Homer kills Death and then ends up
oh yeah,
becoming.
he becomes the yeah.
That one is fun. It's a dumb one, but God, I really like that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like where uh Lisa brings him to like it's like like bring your dad to work day kind of thing. It's like who wants to see Mr. Simpson harvest his soul? It's like yeah, and they bring in that homeless guy, and it's like he dies like and like the kids like yeah! Like they start cheering. It's like wow, that's fucked up.
Oh
Those
man,
fucked up.
that is fucked up.
Uh, oh, and then the other one was the Life's a Glitch, Then You Die. It was the Y2K episode where Homer like he fucked up and didn't like turn all the computers to like the give the he didn't do all the like Y2K maintenance
Mm-hmm.
on the computer systems. So like all the electronics like start
Oh,
to
that's right. They come alive. Yeah, yeah.
they come alive. Everything's like going to shit. And even like Krusty's pacemaker is going crazy, and
Mm-hmm.
like they end up like sealing it. This like they get this letter off of him. It's like, oh, we're we can get off. It's like we have a way to get off the planet. They're all like the elites.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
it's
It's
off.
like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
Lisa Simpson, you're on the list. You're our proofreader.
yeah. And it's like, well, now Lisa, you have to make a tough decision. You can only bring one parent, mom.
Yeah.
You know, It's like, and so Homer and Bart are left on their own. It's like, hey, there's another spaceship, and there's no line, that no one's guarding it. It's like, let's get on it. And it's like all the horrible people, like you have like, it's like, wow, there's Spike Lee and Dr. Laura and like all these like B and C celebrities, and it's
Right.
like, oh no, it's Pauly Shore, or not Tom Bosley,
Tom
it was
Arnold.
Tom Arnold. Yeah, it's like, oh my god. And it's like they're flying into the sun,
Mm.
and it's like,
Yeah, but then like Homer and Bart, they evacuate themselves and
yeah,
like
because Rosie O'Donnell starts like singing like this song, and it's like,
oh
it's
yeah,
okay.
clang. There's something. Yeah, clang, clang, clang goes the trolley.
Yeah, it's like, it's okay, Dad. We're gonna be dead in 5 minutes. Like, that's
Like
not
not
soon
fast
enough.
enough. Yeah,
But
that's a great one.
so that's a fun one too.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, if you haven't watched all of the Treehouse of Horror episodes, like little shorts of The Simpsons, they I will say that is like the one episode that I think is always really solid for The Simpsons, just because uh they're all short, so like they're like maybe like 7 minutes, 7-8 minutes at most, and it doesn't have to follow the Simpsons lore. You can kind of just they can do whatever they want, and they can parody whatever they want, and they're all really solid. So maybe you're down on the kind of like the new Simpsons and everything, but the one episode I think that will always be popular, that will always be solid, is the Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a bad one.
Yeah. I mean, again, I haven't watched all of them, but I guess I would agree with that.
I've seen the majority of them, and I can say that they're all pretty fucking good.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, if you're maybe, God, if you haven't seen The Simpsons, like, well, what's wrong with you? You got to start watching it. But
Right.
um, if you're not familiar with like some, like, because if you're like me, I'll admit I have not watched every single episode of The Simpsons, especially with like in the last like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I know most of the episodes, and I have watched probably every episode in like the first 13 seasons, at least
Easily. Yeah.
easily 10 times or more. But yeah, and I actually, that might be a fun thing to do, because now that my wife's into The Simpsons, I think we should start from like the very first episode and just go, and just watch all of them. That's gonna take us a long time, but and yeah, I admit that after there's a point in time with The Simpsons that it's like, it's not every episode is solid. Like
Yeah.
that golden age period of The Simpsons, like they're all great episodes, and then it's like, yeah, maybe there's like half the season is good, and there's some episodes of like, it's like, it's okay.
Mm.
I think when they did more of the like the full on, like, oh, we're just having on the guest, like the guest voice actor, like as themselves, like in like where they kind of went away from actually kind of making them into a whole different character.
Right. Yeah. Like imagine.
And
Yeah. Kelsey Grammer being anyone other than Sideshow Bob. So,
yeah,
or Danny DeVito not being Homer's half brother, or
yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, or we're just having Danny DeVito on. It's like, that's not fun. Like,
yeah.
I don't think it's as creative. I mean, obviously there are a few times like where they had like Tom Jones on as himself or whatever, where like the episode like where Mr. Burns has a crush on Marge, and like he's trying to steal her away from Homer, and he kidnapped Tom Jones, which is Marge's favorite singer. See, like that's fun. That's different.
Yeah. But
But
yeah,
just
just to have them on to be themselves, like like with like the whole Alec Baldwin, Kim, Basinger thing, or just having Britney Spears on as herself.
Yeah, exactly. It loses a little bit of the charm. So but like overall, like the series, like even like the newer episodes, there's still some really good ones that you can have fun with. And obviously it's definitely evolved over time, but man, it's still a show that after 30 plus years can still deliver a lot of laughs, and that's something. I mean, obviously now we're getting into some like weird like Hank Azaria, kind of like because one guy, it wasn't
literally one like barely funny Indian comedian, like it's like oh Apu's an offensive racial stereotype. It's like
one thing that has just been like a bane of my existence. It's Apu. Really?
Even though he contradicts himself, because he in one interview he said I had to make my peace with that, but then now it's like, oh no, it's so offensive. I can't, we can't allow that to stand. And now we lost a great character in Apu.
Yeah, and they folded like not even like a card table. It's so stupid.
Yeah. They folded faster than Superman on Laundry Day.
Yeah, exactly. But besides like some of the stuff like stuff like that's happening, and unfortunately we lost a couple of like the
the voice actors.
Some of the voice actors, obviously Phil Hartman, who was unfortunately murdered, who that one was sad, and then the lady who did Mrs. Krabappel, she passed away. Marsha Wallace, she passed away, and that was a sad day too, because we're never gonna have those characters again. And no more Lionel Hutz, no more Troy McClure, no more Mrs. Krabappel, and it's just really sad that it's
because a lot of those guys, a lot of the voice actors pull double duty and they do like multiple voices. Like the lady that does Bart, she also does Todd and Rod Flanders.
Yep.
Dan
Castellaneta.
Castaneda. He does Homer. He does Krusty. He does a bunch of different voices. Most Sislak too. Yeah, and of course Hank Azaria. Yeah, he did a whole bunch.
And Hank Azaria, he's like all these guys. They're taking they're the next like Mel Blanc, the man of 1,000 voices. Like that's the guy.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Hank Azaria was Most Sislak.
Yeah, but it's like they're all like kind of they're pulling they're doing the voices of like all these characters. It's like it's kind of like the spirit of Mel Blanc. It's like you're not doing it to. The entire idea of The Simpsons is caricatures of all. It doesn't matter who it is. You have like the fat dumb white guy Homer. You have like the kind of like the loner the loner loser business owner like Mo Sislak. You have like the hardworking immigrant in like Apu. You have the fat comic book nerd in Comic Book Guy. You have you can just go down
on and on. Yeah, like Krusty is like obviously the cynical Hollywood type. Mr. Burns is the unfeeling billionaire.
He's the parody of Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
Of Charles Foster Kane.
Yeah, so yeah, these are all caricatures, but they're not like meant to be like overtly offensive. It's just it's just
And like Dr. Hibbert is a Bill Cosby parody.
yeah. There you go. Yeah, and
Uh,
Troy McClure is the washed up movie star who does infomercials.
yeah. Oh, he's probably my favorite side character, Troy
Mm.
McClure. The one, like I said, like the one episode, like where we get him, like he's like one of the main like side characters, like a fish named Selma. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite episodes. That
Mm.
might be my second favorite episode.
That's a good one.
But I just have to say, like, if you haven't like watched a lot of The Simpsons, if you haven't watched like a lot of the Treehouse horror episodes, like do yourself a favor. They're all on Disney Plus. You can watch them all. Um, and they even have it like broken up into like you can actually like, oh, I want to watch all the horror episodes. You can watch. They have it set up where you can watch all of those. If you want to watch like a specific, oh, I want to watch all the Sideshow Bob episodes. I want to watch all the kind of sports themed Simpsons episodes. They have them all. They have them categorized. You can watch them from like from season one and on. You can do whatever. You can just kind of mix and match and do whatever the hell you want, and it's all there. All like what is it like almost 700 episodes now?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I got nothing else.
No, I got nothing else either. I think that this is actually a lot of fun. This is it just kind of doing something a little bit different, and it kind of yeah, I didn't know of another time that we could really do this, so it really worked out. This is a lot of fun.
All right, folks. That's our stream for tonight. That's our birthday stream. Happy birthday, Rob. Happy birthday, Charlton Heston.
And happy birthday, Andy.
Thank you. Yeah, that'll do it for us tonight. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time. I know Rob had a good time.
I had a great time.
Uh, yeah, check out the library of other content that we have. Circle of Jerks main podcast, Nocturnal Transmissions, of course, and Rob's gaming show, Up by Up Down. Don't forget to follow us on our various social media accounts, Twitter and Letterboxd at PodcastCOJ, and Instagram at Circle of Jerks Podcast. And with all that said, we thank you for joining us tonight. Come back next week, and we'll do it all over again. Have a good night.
Sounds like a plan.